All right, we are going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:36 now, and we're going to do roll call. Everybody's here that's on the board, so no excused absences. So we're going to do a moment of silence. All right, now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank y'all. So now citizens to be heard. All right, we got one, so I get to read this lovely paragraph. All right, citizens to be heard. This is the only time during the Cibolo Economic Development Corporation meeting that a citizen can address the corporation. It is the opportunity for visitors and guests to address the CEDC on any issue to include agenda items. All visitors wishing to speak must fill out the sign-in roster prior to the start of the meeting. The CEDC may not deliberate on non-agenda issue, nor may any action be taken on any non-agenda issue at this time. However, the CEDC may present any factual response to items brought up by citizens. Attorney General Opinion JC 0169, limit of 3 minutes each. All remarks shall be addressed to the corporation as a body. Remarks may also be addressed to any individual member of the CEDC as long as the remarks are about matters of local concern and not disruptive to the meeting or threatening to the member or any attendee, including city staff. Any person violating this policy may be requested to leave the meeting, but no person may be requested to leave or forced to leave the meeting because of their viewpoint expressed. This meeting is live streamed. So, reading that, Mr. Kevin, come on up.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Committee, Cibolo family, and friends. My name is Kevin Lindquist. I actually work with the Texas Tri-County Chamber of Commerce. I serve as in military affairs. Today, I would like to talk to you about an opportunity of training that we have coming up April 17th to the 18th. We'll be hosting a small business symposium. To include, we'll be also hosting a junior leader symposium for students who are looking to start small business and also get knowledge of it. Within that symposium, we'll have a bunch of good lecturers talking about the stresses of business. We'll have psychologists there, networking, other small businesses that will be there to talk about what's going on in their everyday life. Now, with that, how does this benefit the city? Some of these businesses are from our neck of the woods. We're going to provide extra training for them and also include Lean Six Sigma. Now, folks don't know what Lean Six Sigma is. It's a process close to project management where we learn how to get rid of waste and inefficiencies within business. We actually offer that training on the second day on the 18th, about a 4-hour block for the white belt training, and we can host up to 150 people. Once again, it's free for whoever wants to attend, but that'll be for the first 150 personnel for that Saturday who would like to attend that training, and we will provide certificates that day as well. That event will be hosted at the Northeast Lakeview College, who is one of our sponsors and also our partner within the event. Second, for our Junior Leader Symposium, we'll be hosting around 40 to 80 students between the Como and also Cibolo Shirts ISD, where those students will come in on that Friday for 4 hours, and we'll teach them how they can open up their own DBAs at 14 and above. Now, one thing that will spark interest is we'll be hosting a Junior Shark Tank. Now, with that, we have 3 prizes. We have $1,500, $1,000, and also $500. But once again, we just don't want to throw money at these young leaders and say, hey, here you go, spend it on a PlayStation 2 or whatever. We want to ensure that they use that money and they talk to some of the local banks that we have there to learn how to invest their money in their future business, to include saving it for interest. And also, we will have the clerk's office there, if they would choose to open with their parents, a DBA on site, pending any questions.
Where was the location again? You said northeast?
Northeast Lakeview College, April
North.
17th to the 18th.
1604 Kitty Hawk.
So I think that's around Fiesta time.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
So hopefully they'll come hang out with us before they party that evening.
Okay.
And you said there's no cost for adults or the youth?
So no, ma'am. So to
Participate.
attend, it's we have a cap at 300 personnel within the big room, and then we'll also have many sessions, which we still have looking for guest speakers to open up in those sessions. So at one time, we can host up to 500 personnel if possible. Once again, that's when the small group sessions are broken out, and also the big room session as well, ma'am.
And you're with the Tri-County?
Yes, ma'am. Texas Tri-County Chamber of Commerce.
It's on our agenda.
And then
Pending any
this-
further
this-
questions.
This is an agenda item for later this evening too, for consideration as well.
Okay.
I just wanted you to see my nice jacket. That's why I stood up.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
All right,
Good, I
thank you.
appreciate you. All right, there's no other citizens to be heard, so we will move on to the consent agenda. So, all items listed below are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the corporation and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a corporation member requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda. Item 6A, approval of minutes from the January 15th, 2026 meeting. 6B, approval of the reimbursement to the City of Cibolo General Fund for staff time working on Cibolo Economic Development Corporation projects for January of 2026. 6C, approval of financial and sales tax reports for approval, okay. Sales tax reports for approval of financial and sales tax reports for December of 2025. I need a motion. Do y'all have any questions?
No, I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda 6A, 6B, and 6C as written.
I'll second.
So it's been moved and second to approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, moving on. So, item 7A, the presentation, recognition of service for Mr. Marcus Mattingly.
You didn't think you were going to get away without a special gift, right? We got together and we got you a little token of our appreciation for your 6 years of service to our community, to our board. Your impact is visible, and I am speaking for myself as staff. It's been great to work with you. Your vision and everything, we see it. Your fingerprints are on it. The board, I know, when you get elected president, that speaks a lot about your character and everything. So I personally want to say thank you for your service to the city and the board and everything. Chipped in, we got you this plaque. It's a little wordy, but. I paraphrased it, but I'll read it. Marcus Mattingly, this plaque is a small token of our deep appreciation for your dedication, professionalism, and service to the Cibolo Economic Development Corporation. Your commitment has made a lasting impact on our community's growth and future. City of Cibolo Economic Development Corporation.
There we go. So everyone's in. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Well, Marcus, I appreciate all the time that you've been on the board and everything you've helped the city do and help us accomplish and start.
Here, here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're awesome, man. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on to 7B, the presentation, the recognition of service for Miss Peggy Simmons.
Well, do it later. She's not back up.
What, you shaking your head? Baby? Okay,
Not even. But look,
okay.
that's what he did.
Can I get a picture with you?
Over 20 years of service to our community, Peggy. This is the smallest token we could say, but it means volumes to the impact you've made on this community. Peggy shared one story when I first started that Main Street was gravel when she started here. So the growth and everything she's seen, what she's done for each and every one of us sitting up here cannot be replaced. We will miss you, but I hope you enjoy your vacations, enjoy your time off. You've earned it, and I say thank you. I'm sure the board members and the mayor agree as well.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You want a picture? You want a picture with us? Come on, get a picture with us. Can't get away with it. So I'll put you on the roller for you.
That's all right, I'm holding behind you.
I'll try.
Oh, you look so pretty.
I got everyone on this one, and I got another one after this. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then let me get that one. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and 3. There we go.
Thank you again, Peggy. You're awesome.
Look, she just left.
I'm out.
We were talking about a gift and we were like,
I know she walked out, so it's probably a good thing. I've been a municipal attorney for 35 plus years. Worked for countless cities, a lot of city secretaries, city clerks, and let me tell you, Peggy's top 2 of all the ones I've worked with. She's top 2.
Yeah.
And actually, she's tied for first. She was a little meaner to me than the others, so. But she has been a pleasure to work with. A lot of city attorney here, and now she's always been a pleasure to work with.
Absolutely. I remember when she was at the old city hall. Like, yeah, been around.
Yeah.
She's been amazing all these years. All right, moving on to 7C. Discussion action to make a recommendation to the city council on an appointment of an EDC board member to serve as a capital improvement advisory committee for a term of 3 years.
okay, so we recently appointed Mr. Mattingly to this committee last year. He served us dutifully, and with his cycling off the board, we have to appoint a new member. I put some brief history on this board, on this committee in here. Basically, you're going to be a part of setting how the city does business when it comes to capital improvements and everything to the sort, where EDC will have a voice at the table, and because our funds can be used for this type of stuff. So it's very important for us to have a member on this committee to voice those, in addition with the mayor serving as ex officio to this board, so she straddles 2 roles. I'm going to leave it for discussion for you all. They meet, Marcus, maybe you know better than me, I can't scan through this fast
I
enough.
think it's the 4th Thursday of every month. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was what they agreed last.
And I'll say Valerie will get to you for that because Miss Peggy this is her last official meeting, but whomever is appointed, we will make sure you get the information for that meeting.
Is that an in-person meeting or is it
It's in
Teams?
person. It's in person.
Here?
It's in person. It's here. It's here.
So there's technically only 3 of us that can do it right now. Is it something we should do right now, or should we wait until we get the other ones on the board too?
Can we wait?
Or does it need to be done now?
As staff, I would recommend somebody from the board now because each of you have a year plus of service to the Cibolo Economic Development Corporation Board. So you bring that institutional knowledge. It seems like a small role, but it's a big role. And you all have been here to set the priorities previously, so I'd recommend somebody from that sits currently. And should anything come up, we could come back and reappoint. But for this evening, I would suggest appointing a member to attend.
All right, it's between the three of us.
I'm already taking on the fourth Thursday of every day,
Well, I guess that leaves me. Voluntold.
I'll need an action, a motion and a,
You need a motion?
yes, please.
I'll go ahead and, motion, to recommend Justin
Trish.
I always say Trish, to the, recommendation to the city council on an appointment of our EDC board member to serve on the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee for a 3-year term.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that me, Justin Treesh, will serve as the Capital Improvement Advisory Committee for the EDC. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Just want to make sure you got my aye recorded.
Well, the ayes have it. I am now the member. Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I'm here for y'all. All right, 7D, discussion action related to the sponsorship request from the Tri-City Chamber for the 2026 Small Business Unite Symposium. Yeah, that one.
And I'll bring up Kevin again to speak to this, but just to give you some background, in the staff report, I put a big block of what Kevin already spoke about during public comment period, but I will add that Luke and I will be attending this event. Luke as a moderator and me sitting on a panel representing Cibolo EDC. I'll let Kevin speak to sponsorship levels and anything like that. We're looking for just direction and action, discussion and action, and we'll go from there. Kevin, I'll turn it over to you for everything else.
Good evening once again.
Hi, Kevin.
So with this event, it's a trifold. Once again, we will have the Small Business Symposium side, where we have the 300 folks that'll be attending, the Junior Symposium side, and then I just got an email now that we'll also be adding a Veterans Business Symposium to it as well. That'll be a 4-hour block on the same day. With that, with the sponsorship, we're looking at one of two ways. We're looking at either a $500 sponsorship or $1,000. What that does is it helps with the marketing, not only for Cibolo, but also for the students. Now, a lot of our funds are actually, most of it are going into this Junior League Symposium because we're trying to get books. We're trying to provide a lot of information for them to include. We're trying to offset the transportation that the schools, the ISDs have to pay for to get the schools up there as well. So once again, the sponsorships are small in itself, and we're making sure that we can fit what we need as far as the sponsorship with each city. As of right now, we have Live Oak, and we have Live Oak, Randolph Federal Credit Union, and also University that are our 3 sponsors for this event. And we would love to have Cibolo a part of our family as well. 2 things I want you to get out of this, right? We have 2 sessions where we have the EDC session where now folks learning about what the EDC does, the grants and stuff that it can provide for them if they're going to open up their business within that area. Second, we'll have, got a brain fart. We have another panel which is going to have committee members, city council members, and also chamber members, where now we can talk what we do for the community, right? Because that's big. Because once again, if I'm having a business in a city, I want to know who's going to be voting on where I can go, what I can do, and also who can offer me help. So those are within the package of opportunities. One thing I do apologize, we have emails and printouts that we did have for this event, and I can actually email it to you later to be more in depth. But once again, it's a multi-facet symposium over 2 days. And with that, next year, hopefully we can go to a bigger setting closer within the Tri-County area, pending any questions.
So when, it's April 17th and 18th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
April 17th is our full day, which is that Friday. And then the 18th will be the half a day for the Lean Six Sigma certification. That'll be from 8 to 12.
Okay.
Can you break down the sponsorships again and the amounts and what is included?
Okay. So the 2 sponsorships that we're honing in on right now is $1,000 and $500. With each sponsorship, we do have a table that's locally for that city or for that agency. We do have other agencies that are bringing in some of their junior leaders or junior associates, which now will be part of that event, so it becomes training for them. It also comes with the marketing. We are using different marketing tools as far as how to get out there outside of our own Twitter and Twitter, Facebook, and also LinkedIn. But we're also trying to use a program called WOVA. WOVA is a huge platform where it helps you set chat forums up and everything within that space. So now you have that conference digitally, and folks can mingle and talk to each other within that space and also share business information. With that as well, it's helping with the junior leader counts as far as offsetting prices the schools would have to pay out of their budgets because it gets the students there and also to pay for food and everything else. But other than that, if you want to attend, it's free for folks that want to attend who has a business or who doesn't have a business. You don't have to be part of Tri-County to come, but it is a first come, first serve for the first 300 personnel who want to attend the event.
So you got $1,000 option and a $500 option?
Yes, sir.
And what's the difference between, is there any differences?
Yes.
What's
So
the difference?
So for the 1,000, you're going to get a whole table, a table of 10.
Okay.
With that, your marketing will go on each of the tables to include, we're also filming a sizzle reel. If you're not sure what a sizzle reel is, it's like that 60 to 90 second video where folks will talk about their small businesses. We'll ask some officials to go in there as well, and that will be playing the whole time we're there on their 6 big screens within that space. With the $500, once again, we have totes. So inside those totes, you're allowed to put some of your promotional items for your small business or for your large business within those totes. With that, you will not be able to have the opportunity to be on the sizzle reel, but we will provide you with that marketing. Now, also with that $1,000, we have a classroom that's for that sponsor where you'll have your own classroom for that full day. It'll sit anywhere from 30 to 40 people, and that's where your business or your city can now talk about what's going on, and you have that instruction for the whole day in that space.
Okay. So this is for staff. Is that something we can accommodate? Is like, let's say hypothetically we get the $1,000 sponsorship. I mean, do we have somebody who can man a table all day and somebody who can?
These 2 guys can handle it.
I just want to make sure, because I know you
Yeah,
guys.
it's doable. Prior to this agenda item, just to give full circle to the board, we spoke with Kevin and we had initial meetings to discuss, and internally we had discussions on capacity prior to bringing it to the board for the financial commitments. We feel confident we can fully staff a table, we can provide marketing materials, we put our best Cibolo foot or hoof, depending on who you ask, forward. But yes, to answer your question, we will be able to fully do the 17th. We've marked off our calendar for that day.
And I'm and also too in our marketing budget we have it, right?
Yes,
I don't see any
we still
issues
have funds available to accommodate
to
this.
accommodate. Okay.
Will this be the only event you do this year?
Yes, sir. Because right after that, we have our big event, which is the golf tournament, which is separate, but for educational event, this is our first that we're ever doing this. So this is kind of our pilot to see how it's going to go. If it goes great, then we'll pick a larger location, but the goal is to keep it within the Tri-Cities and not do it in San Antonio. Because once again, we're trying to bring people up here to us, in our area versus going down to San Antonio for a larger space.
Anybody got questions?
Oh, all my questions. Yeah, I'm good.
That was it. It could be met and they're gonna be there. I think if they can do it,
I think it's a good opportunity. It's not too much investment for to
Give them-
get exposure for the economic development and the city of Cibolo.
Absolutely.
So we've been partnered with Tri-County for a very long time.
So
Do we need to make a motion on this, or, okay, make a motion to, sponsor $1,000 for your, the sponsorship for the Tri-County Chamber of the 2026 Small Business Unite Symposium.
second?
I'll second that.
So it's been moved and seconded for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passes.
So-
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yep, see
Thank
there.
you. Appreciate you coming in. All right. Item 7E, discussion action related to funding Old Town lighting safety improvements in the downtown assessment.
Sorry, technical difficulties here. Okay, so this item is actually a two-part, but it involves our Old Town, so I combined them. Recently, our board has been asked to come and help with public safety improvements in downtown, in Old Town and downtown rather. Part of that includes the Old Town study, which is being done currently right now, which will not be done for another 4 to 5 months. We've done the downtown banner updates, which look beautiful. We swap them out. We just swapped out our second ones. And we've approved the beacon crossing during the last meeting for pedestrian safety in our downtown core. With that has come, and then let me not be remiss to forget, we've approved a big grant for Rooted Fork for exterior and all those wonderful improvements. With that has come conversations about the safety environment in Old Town, downtown, specifically from Slaughter to 78, related to lighting. And that's one reason the beacon crossing came up, is that is a visible light for people to slow down. Over these conversations, it's come to our attention internally with staff discussions that the lighting we have, and we all probably know it for driving Main Street, is inadequate for road lighting. It's more pedestrian tuned lighting, and even that it's too dim. So what staff has been doing is we reached out to a company called 2M Lighting Solutions in San Antonio, and what they are, a broker would be a loose term, but they're a connector. So we gave them the issues we're facing. We asked them for solutions to it. Our want is to increase the lumens without, distracting who lives down there or anything, but to improve safety. That came within your packet there. It would be, skip over the downtown flyer. We'll go over that in a minute. But the next page in there, if you look at that first page that talks about Sigma PLED lighting, that image you see at the top there is the lighting we're discussing adding to Old Town from Slaughter to right around to the end of 78. This lighting kind of matches the style we have now, so it keeps that Old Town feel. It keeps that unique feeling without taking away from the design of what is existing. However, what it does do is allow us to do directionality with the lighting. So this will be all LED lighting. And on the other pages, if you keep flipping, it would be this page that has the circles on the top, which just talks about the LED patterns. If you look down at optics, it shows how we could arrange the lighting to directionally onto the street or onto the sidewalk without disturbing the residents that live in that area. What we're proposing, we don't have any finalized numbers yet. The vendors are a little slow to turn around to 2M Lighting to get that information back to us. We wanted to bring this to the board and bring it to your attention because we will be coming back with a discussion action item related to those improvements. And to be specific and clear, we're not replacing the whole light pole. We're not replacing the 19 inches. Just the cap can come off. So we're just replacing the cap, which makes this a very lighter lift as far as financially and for a vendor to complete. And with this too will come less maintenance and operation charges on our public works team, because right now they are physically changing light bulbs, LED bulbs, but they're bulbs. They're physically changing them. So I wanted to bring this to the board's attention. This is something we've been working on for about a month and a half after discussions with Councilwoman Roberts and the mayor and even the business owners in downtown when Luke goes and visits them for business retention expansion. Lighting is an issue in our Old Town. We believe as staff this would be the first step to improving the lighting environment. It would be a short-term fix for a long-term problem. And if it works in this core, the idea would be to go from Slaughter to HEB. HEB doesn't need our help with lighting, but our lights go up to that area. So we're improving the lighting environment in that whole corridor and not just our commercial corridor. And this is, again, for safety. I mean, with the beacon conversation from January, that's kind of scared me before that beacon was there and being down there at night. So I wanted to bring it to the board's attention that we are doing these things to look at capital improvements and to work with our public works department. They have limited funds. They don't have funds to do this. Is pretty much why it has not been done. It's not because they don't want to. It's just because there's no funding mechanism. And, like everybody, they're taxed. So that's the first part of this, to bring you up to speed of what we're doing for Old Town improvements. With that being said, there are tons of grants out in the world for Old Town improvements and downtown improvements. Tons. I've applied for them in other communities. They're highly competitive. Our Old Town study is being done right now. The grant application windows are open right now, and it's not going to line up with that study being complete and having staff time to digest it, for me to digest it. The stopgap for us to be able to apply for grants, and we have a grant writer on staff with the city that's ready, willing, and waiting, is to fund a downtown assessment. So what happens is we are members of the Texas Downtown Association, and that comes with great benefits. It comes with connectivity of a network of downtown professionals we can talk to about issues and problems. That's how I got the lighting vendor and ideas that worked in other communities. So what they offer, and I've seen it done in other communities, is they offer a Texas Downtown Assessment where they bring in downtown professionals from across the state. So think downtowns like Georgetown, Denton, even San Marcos, established huge downtowns that are doing it right and moving forward, and they've seen everything. They come in and assess our environment. They talk to staff, they talk to board members, they talk to residents, they talk to business owners. I would be remiss to call it a short Old Town study, which it is not. It is more of a fine-tuned assessment specific to downtown and specific to our downtown corridor. And I don't know why that shut off, but the cost of this is about $1. It brings them in for about a day, maybe a half a day. And what I'm proposing is that we fund this through our professional services budget, which we have money set aside, and we get that playbook. Because at some point, CEDC is going to have to move and diversify our focus from Old Town, but we don't want to forget where we came from, but we want to have a playbook to make those dollars stretch the furthest. And I believe this would be a good use of the funds to have those professionals come in and tell us, here's your short-term goals, here's your playbook, fill it out, or we go to, forgive me, the grant writer's name escapes me, we go to the grant writer and say, hey, Main Street America has these 7 grants, here's projects we have that can be shovel-ready to apply for this grant. Because we're not competing on these grants if we don't have the project shovel-ready. It's not too dissimilar to what we do for other departments. So this gives us our playbook, it gives us our projects and our guide to be able to apply for grants to improve Old Town, downtown, and really put those dollars and stretch them where they can go. And that grant money is flush right now. There's grants that go unfunded all the time, but downtown grants are very competitive. I will say that. The specific one that I'm aware of, I applied for twice in Buda for a gazebo for a shovel-ready project, and I didn't even get a reply that was a no. They announced the winners before they told me it was a no. And I had a shovel-ready project with our match lined up and everything lined up and a vendor ready to go once we got the green light to get it done in 60 days. And I'm not saying any of these other grants will, but that's why I'm coming to you all, because we're in charge of quality of life too. And our businesses do good when our environments are good too. So I'll leave it to the board to discuss. The lighting direction, I will bring that back at a future meeting when I have the specific cost estimate. I was hoping to have it this board meeting, but we're waiting on the vendor to get back to us.
So if we bring this board of people in, it will kind of put it where we can write these grants instead of having the study done, finished, and that will circumstance that and be able to move us forward.
Yeah, so it gives us a playbook. An example I'll use, and I used it with you, Justin, is if you, and I'm not knocking anything, our Old Town shows its age, which is great. But the awnings to Catalanos and Harmons, that could be an identifiable project with something like this that would say, here's what you need to do, here's how you can accomplish it, and then you line up your vendor and you apply for a grant to say, we're going to keep the historical significance of this and not tear it down, put something new over it and create false history. We're going to restore it with the building owner's help, stuff like that. And we could do that through the big grant, but the big grant's not set up for that level of funding. That would exceed what the big grant can do.
Well, is there an estimated cost on what it would be? I saw something about 4,000-ish.
Yeah, so the estimated
Just for the
cost
lights?
I have is about $4,000. They put a range on here, and it's a total fee $1,500 plus travel expenses. They said travel expenses is anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. I put $4,000 just to be safe, but I am meeting next week If you wanted to do a not to exceed of, I would say we were probably safe somewhere in the 3,000 mark, and should it exceed that amount, I can come back to the board and advise.
And-
So
Oh, go ahead.
is the study and the lights connected? Like, or can we look at those separately?
They're not connected.
Okay.
The only reason I put them on a joint agenda item is because it's related to Old Town. And what we're doing in Old Town matters. I just didn't want to divvy it up into two agenda items. I was thinking both ways, so they may look at our lighting,
Yes.
because it's quite possible they come before we complete that project and we can tell them, hey, this is what we're working on. Is this a good project, so to speak?
And how much would it cost to bring the group of people in to look at our area?
For the whole,
Yeah.
for the whole board, so they said that, the total fee is 1,500 plus their travel expenses. And then they put average travel expenses, 500 to 1,000, give or take. It's gonna be on that first page in that little blue bubble.
Oh, there. I see it. I got you.
I will say I had a conversation with Ashley and Shirts, and they're kind of looking at the same thing. So what I may pitch to them is we do a combined effort, and that may save on our costs and everything, because quite honestly, the hotel they'll have to stay in is likely in Shirts.
Oh, man, we don't have a hotel.
You brought up quality of life on this one, and how it pertains to EDC. We're just talking about the lights all the way from 78 all the way down to HEB.
Eventually, the project would be that way, but we're gonna do it in a phase for the most need right now, which is that commercial district from Slaughter to 78, where it's really dark right now.
There's already lights there. The light pole's already there. It's just
Yeah.
switching out the.
Yeah, the
head.
poles are there. It's just switching the toppers. It's kind of internal discussions where let's start small and make sure it's something we really like before we look at the greater picture. Because at that point, we'll understand how it looks in the environment. We'll understand how to tune it and everything like that.
Okay.
Because we've asked for the brightest light that's not annoying, if that makes sense.
And then you're wanting us, you want us to look at a direction of going to a grant? Is that correct?
The direction I'm looking for this evening is to fund the $3,500, $4,000 to start the Texas Downtown Association's downtown assessment. And then the separate thing was just to let you know about the lighting improvements. And should the board choose, I'm not asking you to fund that right now. I'm not asking for any action on it because I don't have a solid number for you. At the time I wrote this, they were supposed to get back the quote for me, but that did not happen. So what we could do procedurally, and I'm looking at Frank, is just, if the board wishes, just address the Texas Downtown Association, the assessment, and leave the lighting off for any action until I can bring it back, hopefully, in the March meeting.
Oh, good, I like that.
Okay.
Lights.
Would that be fine, Frank? Okay.
Mayor, you had a question?
I have a couple questions. So on the, like, if you're going to do the full day board strategic planning, the SWOT assessment, it should be done from the plan that we already have, correct?
To be clear, thank you, Mayor. A point of clarification, there's 3 options on their sheet, and the only one I'm proposing is the downtown assessment by TXD staff and the professional team. Thank you, Mayor. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
The mayor agreed. I saw her bright and early this morning in Guadalupe County. It's just the downtown assessment. It's not the other 2 options.
Well, because I was saying our strategic plan addressed a lot of that just recently, right?
Correct, yeah, and they will review that document, but basically this gives us legs to be able to say, okay, and I'm not picking on Harmons or Catalanos, but it's like, hey, we agree that this should be something you pursue when it comes to your downtown development.
And it's unequivocal that this study from this particular group, which I'm assuming they're a for-profit, right?
They're not-for-profit. It's
They're
an
nonprofit?
Yeah, it's an association we're members
It's an
of.
association, okay. And
It's-
that is 100% requirement to apply for any grants? Like, we couldn't use our strategic plan?
It's not a requirement, and our strategic plan does cover some Old Town things, but with our strategic plan, it's not exactly clear cut. So
Okay.
what we could do, and what these grants like to do, and I wish I had the grant writer with me, my personal experience is they like vision, direction, and action. So they want the vision, they want your direction of what you're doing, they want your action plan all lined up. And while staff can do that, it would take us forever to complete something like that, and the subject matter experts can come in and knock it out, quite honestly, quicker than maybe Luke or I could do it as a two-man team.
Would this put us in a better position to get grants by bringing these?
I honestly believe it would, in lieu of an Old Town Plan. That study is kind of moving slower than I've experienced before, and that's not to say anything left or right about it. I think this is a short-term solution for our board, who is being requested to improve our downtown environment, to really have a back document that says, okay, here's our strategic plan that Marcus mentioned, here's our assessment that we paid for, and these are the items we will focus on for the next 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 years. These are the only things we will entertain, if you will, outside of any other requests. But it really gives us, like our strategic plan, that roadmap specific to downtown Old Town.
Any more questions?
Okay, well, that helped me a lot because I was going to go down to the component of the board versus the downtown manager responsibilities. So since we do have the various different plans that were done by the EDC board, do we have like a downtown manager, say for FM 78, or a downtown manager for downtown, or the I-10 corridor? Like, are you planning to structure it like that so that we have maybe like more of a focus or specialty in those areas? Because we do have all those plans, and that's a lot.
Excellent question. We are part of the Texas Historical Commission's Main Street First Initiative. That is a mouthful. That is the precursor that the Texas Historical Commission has worked on for the past 3 years to provide a pathway to becoming a Main Street community. When you become a Main Street community, you get the sign, you're part of the Texas Historical Commission Main Street overarching, and then you're part of the national accreditation system, which sets the standards on which you run your downtown. So my previous community, we were an accredited Texas Main Street community through Main Street America. It is our goal in this department to work towards that. We are crawling right now before we walk. And in a perfect world, we would have a downtown manager and maybe a downtown's groundkeeper to manage downtowns specifically. But right now, we're working through the process of the nuts and bolts to apply for the Main Street program with the Texas Historical Commission. Because of staff turnover last year, we chose not to apply and go a second year through the First Street Initiative to fine tune. But with that, launching a Main Street program requires an interlocal agreement with Texas Historical Commission to fund the position, in our population, you would have to fund a full-time Main Street manager who would be responsible for implementing the 4-point approach that's required through Main Street reporting. It becomes a whole separate initiative and program, which, based on our strategic plan and the council's strategic plan, is a goal of the city. But we're probably 3 to 4 years out from that.
Okay, so this is step one to that process.
This is
That's-
like 1A if we want to.
Okay.
This is giving us that little extra.
Okay,
So
now
when
I
we-
understand what you're asking for. Before I was like, we have the downtown strategic plan, which is really more infrastructure and revitalization. But then this would be where we become the historic, we would get the downtown manager, the maintenance, and then the programs that come along with that pathway.
This would let us know at a place and time where we sit and what we
Yes.
can improve on.
Yes.
And how we launch into that. This gives
That's
us that.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. So that makes sense to me, and thank you for bringing this.
Absolutely.
Do I have more questions? No. So what do we need?
If it pleases the board, I would just request a 4,000 not to exceed limit. I will meet with the director of the Texas Downtown Association. I'll meet with her virtually next Wednesday to discuss the project. And then I can vet a full price and email out the board and say, hey, it's under the 4,000, this is how much we're set to spend, and give you an exact dollar figure so we're all on the same playing field.
We need a motion to approve or deny. It's y'all three.
Okay, we just want to make sure that this has nothing to do with supplementing the general fund for public safety, right? This is for quality of life assessment.
That is correct. They will come in and,
So make sure that's very clear here because we're not,
they will come in and assess our downtown as it sits. So what they'll say is,
So maybe you could
Because we had
explain
that
to 'em
convers-
when you get to the historic designation and you get the downtown manager, maybe you can explain what that looks like in a city that's doing that and why Cibolo would benefit from that and from the business perspective.
yeah, I can do that. So currently what we do, Luke is our business retention expansion manager. Excuse me, I gave you a promotion right there. Our specialist. He goes and visits with businesses all across the city. When you enter the Texas Downtown Historic Commission's Main Street program, you are specifically hiring a person to solely focus on your Old Town and downtown. And that there's a 4-point approach. And it's promotion, it's organization, which it would require a Main Street board that the Main Street manager would be the liaison for. It would require revitalization or economic vitality. And then the third one escapes me right now, but it doesn't mean it's any less important. But you get an overarching set of rules to follow. And basically, you create a work plan, or the Main Street manager creates a work plan of, this is how we're going to improve our Old Town, downtown, whatever you want to call it, our Main Street. And we're going to execute it this year with this budget. So for instance, when I was in Buda, we needed bike racks in our downtown. That project was completed after I left, but the groundwork was laid with me researching, and they were big on wiener dogs, researching how to get bike racks shaped like wiener dogs to fit the marketing and fit the brand. But other improvements involve working with, at that point, the EDC, because they're under 20,000 in population, they can directly incentivize restaurants. So working with the EDC to improve our dining and entertainment options in our downtown, that was part of our strategic plan. Improving mobility, adding a crosswalk was part of our strategic plan, and that involved working with Public Works and everything. Marcus, to your point, subsidizing public safety, it's more of improving the full environment of the downtown. The function of a Main Street manager is solely to focus on Main Street and how can I make it better, how can I make it lively, and how can I make it survive, and also preserve what is there, because it's preservation-based economic development. It's holding that place and that fabric of a community and improving it without taking away from it. It's a long road to get there, but the benefits are threefold when you talk about tapping into the Texas Historical Commission's expertise. They have free design assistance where historic preservation architects can come down and look at, say, the empty lot in downtown and say, imagine the possibility of putting a 2-story building here that has coffee shop, bookstore on the bottom and Airbnb on the top, just to be an example. So it creates this vision and this commitment to preserving your downtown. And it comes with strings attached. You sign a document saying you'll fund the position and you'll fund the program. Most communities fund it through hotel occupancy tax. I'll be completely honest with you. They use that for the marketing arm. Other communities, they have to fund it through the general fund. So my role in Buda was, my salary was general fund, but all my marketing and promotion stuff came out of the HOT fund, the hotel occupancy tax fund.
How do you do that if as Main Street, can you expand it into the Old Town as the whole? Would it be like Old Town manager, or would it just be the Main Street?
So what happens is when you're accepted in the program, you give them and it goes back and forth and you agree on a geographical area. This is our Main Street, Old Town, downtown district, and that's what that program will be responsible for. So
Are we going to include the section of FM 78 that connects us back into Old Town, the road that comes that way as well, where the new gym
For
is?
me, whatever the Texas Historical Commission will take, because they will not expand it after you said it. We tried in Buda and they wouldn't expand it.
Well,
So,
we're years away
include
from
file,
having
we'll
a
include
downtown
all that.
manager, right?
what's that?
we're years away from having a downtown.
We
Main
are
Street.
probably, in my professional opinion, 3 to 4 years away from even skirting or even opening a true discussion about entering the Main Street program. I know we previously tried, and then the Texas Historical Commission closed applications because they were having communities, and I'm not stating it was here, but they were having communities apply that didn't do their homework before. So it was wasting everybody's time to have the meetings. and
So
everything.
part of this would be determining whether we should waste the
Correct.
time or not.
Well, and to your point, Mayor, not all communities have to be Main Street communities to do great work. And that's where the Texas Downtown Association comes in. It's actually a spin-off organization from the woman who spearheaded the Texas Main Street program with the state. She saw a need for communities that either could not reach that level to even apply or did not want to. So she created a framework for everybody to come together, whether you're a Main Street community or anything, to share those ideas and get everybody in the same room. Because this is our history. It's our shared history. It's the fabric of our communities. Downtowns, if you don't pay attention to them, they go away just as fast. So, and especially considering growing communities. So that's kind of what I would give to it. I'm not going to say it's a waste of time. It's something we're pursuing as staff. And when we get to that decision point, we will leave it to City Council and the EDC board to review.
Okay, yeah, understood. We'll do the motion to approve up to the 4,000.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to do a motion to approve EDC staff to work with the Texas Downtown Association to facilitate, what do we call it, the downtown assessment for the Old Town District, not to exceed 4,000. Is that a good enough motion? Okay.
Is there a second? No second? The motion doesn't carry.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to deny it?
Do we need that?
You can take no action, and that would be proper with that. But what I will say is I'll bring back the lighting
Yes.
at a different meeting with a cost point, and I do apologize.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Sounds good, okay, so.
Sounds good.
No action taken on 7E. On to 7F. Discussion, presentation related to the Cibolo Unified Development Code.
I think there was nothing on that. You're just going to table that, or? I didn't see anything in the packet about.
For the UDC thing?
It said NA. Yeah, on everything. I would probably table that. Also, Mr. Vasquez isn't here.
Oh, 7F, okay. You should have had a presentation attached to your packet that's a PowerPoint. We are not going to go through that PowerPoint. Rick was going to be here. Basically, I had a discussion with Justin about this prior to the meeting too, to kind of fill him in on the intent of this. The city's going through a UDC rewrite. That's a big undertaking. And the UDC governs how we as economic developers can do our job, but also it governs how businesses perceive and approach our community and understand the playing field. What's happening is staff is working, and there was a budget for staff to work on the rewrite. That budget is there, and that's accomplishing the rewrite. Now what happens is the rewrite is probably 4 to 5 months away from completion, and then it has to be reviewed by our engineering team, and it also has to be reviewed by city attorney. Now, the danger we run into is if there's no funding for this portion of the project allotted currently. And I'm bringing this to you on behalf of Rick and the planning department to request some funding. The estimates, and this is a big number, but the estimates range from anywhere from $125,000 to $150,000, and that includes both prongs. So that includes your legal review, and that includes your engineering review. Basically, economic development cannot happen effectively and efficiently without predictability. So we could go forward with a code that doesn't have an engineering review or a city attorney or an attorney or legal review, but then what will happen is mayhem. we will get caught up on technicalities. Our businesses, our recruitments, our prospects will not be able to, we will not be able to effectively do our jobs, let alone the planning department, let alone P&Z, let alone city council. So this is a bit of a primer type of agenda item. There's no action. It's just a presentation to let you know this is happening right now at this place in time, and this body will likely be asked, either formally or informally, to fund that next level of the UDC rewrite. I'm not asking for any action. I'm just asking y'all to think about it. It is coming. And this was a request that was put on by Rick. He was supposed to be here, but he had another engagement he couldn't miss. But to give you an idea, that UDC rewrite, our current code, if we're trying to recruit restaurants into, say, an inline on 1103, where Jimmy John's is, Jimmy John's parking requirement, even though it's, what is it, Freaky Fast? Their parking requirement is the same as, say, a full-service restaurant. So our current code does not differentiate between limited service, full service, and quick service restaurants when it comes to parking, which makes it hard from a retail standpoint to say, okay, Mr. Franchisee, you want to put your business here, but you need to create a shared parking use agreement with the gas station next door. But the gas station next door says, no, I already have my parking figured out. No, thank you. So then you have these empty shells that are just sitting. And I'm not saying that's the long of it, why some of our retail is empty. It's probably price point and economy. But when restaurants want to move in here, parking is a big hindrance. We've seen deals fall apart because the way the UDC is written. So those types of tweaks to the code and the rewrite, the things that weren't considered in 2013 are amended all the way through last year and this year. It seems like I read through the amendments. Those are things that we have to fine tune. We have to differentiate and make rules that serve the current public. And also, when we're in competition with Schertz and Seguin and New Braunfels, and I'm not saying the rules are any easier or anything, but they have clearly defined lineated UDCs.
So the last one was updated in 2013.
It started in, the original adoption was 2013, and then, let me find it. They started the rewrite in 24, right before the new fiscal year. But if you look at the PowerPoint, so 2013 UDC adoption, and then it was adopted on 26 of 13. Then it was amended in 25 of 2014, 2015, and you can go down the list.
Yeah.
So instead of keeping amending this document and making it 10 times more confusing, the idea is to rewrite the UDC and make it clear and cut for today's developer.
And that's what's already done, is just, it hasn't gone to legal and review and.
Correct. They're in the middle of rewriting it, and that last step, once they complete rewriting, and I say they, it's the Assistant Director, Aaron Spencer in Planning, and Rick and the Planning and Zoning Commission, is in the middle of rewriting this to fit today's developmental world.
Who was in charge of budgeting that in the first place?
That was out of a general fund budget, so it would have been in the Planning and Zoning budget to accomplish the UDC rewrites. I can't speak to how or why it is short. I can't even speak to, and I don't think it's over budget. I think it's just one of those things where it's like, let's hunker down and focus on getting the rewrite done, and we'll do the rest when it comes to it. Again, I'm not asking for any action today, but this will come down as a request likely in the next month or two. We're getting into budget season, and one of the items this evening is the budget. Start thinking about those things. But we funded the Parks Open Space Trails Master Plan for fiscal year 26. So it'll likely come through the city manager's office or from a mayor and city council as a formalized request to fund it. And we may have a better dollar figure by then, but it will not be, it's not a insignificant amount of money when you compare it to the size of our budget.
Will we be sharing the cost of that with the city or the general fund, or they're looking for you?
That to be determined.
Okay.
That could be an option of the board. I'm not going to steer you either way until we bring it formalized, but that could be an option. Cost sharing is always you know, that's always an option. So just to give you ideas to think about, that this is something that will be asked, and this is where our UDC sits right now.
Okay.
It's being rewritten, and we're running off a code that's 13 years old, that's amended, we'll just say 13 times. And good, bad, or indifferent, that's how it usually works. These things, you go through the amendment route because you're in that present time. The rewrite is this thing that really pushes and takes time to do because you're trying to predict the future too.
I'm just confused on why it will be brought to us if it was supposed to be budgeted already.
The reasoning that was given to me, and I agree, is that economic development cannot truly happen without a UDC. And if we have a problematic UDC, prospects will skip over us. If there's any road
Right.
bump, if there's unpredictability, and if there's anything that looks risky, we as an organization have to be risky first. But these prospects can go to the next town over and say, okay, their UDC is predictable on whatever lane I want to take. And comparative to Cibolo, I don't want to do, we found out today that a community didn't have a traffic impact analysis until 2023. You know, they don't have to do TIAs there. So we'll go there because it's a smoother path. We don't have to spend money, or it's predictable and we can outflow one check and know these are the rules we play by, and if we sway out of it, we know what the remedies are.
Yeah, I agree that we need a clear-cut UDC, definitely, because we've been running off this one for a while, and it doesn't help the city very much. So,
Yeah, and this is just a light presentation to kind of, I hate to say prime the pump, that seems to be my phrase today. But
Well-
to give you guys an idea of the types of discussions that are being having, you know, it's March, almost March, and we're gonna start talking about budget pretty soon.
Sure. Well, I just remember a briefing before where the EDC, we have to understand sometimes we say no, and that's okay. Now, I think the UDC is a necessary document. I think the OPR, the Office of Responsibility, is the city. That's the first time in 6 years I've ever heard anybody ask us to pay for engineering review and legal review, and I'm assuming are we talking about using our internal legal review for the UDC?
The city attorney.
Exactly. So, hence, got it. I won't be here for that conversation, but it's okay to say no, and it should have been budgeted by the city. This has been going on for years. They know there was inconsistencies with it. I even think we had some working groups probably 3 or 4 years ago talking about this, so just.
we did.
But again, you're not asking for any action or motion right now, but just as a forethought, when it does come back, that's something I would scrutinize. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. And this is why we have these conversations, so we don't delay anything and we have clear delineation for mayor and council. So you guys aren't surprised.
And also, for the record, I do want to say that type B EDCs can fund regulations that would help attract businesses.
Yes.
So he pointed out the exact reason why the EDC needs to be updated to help attract businesses. And the Texas Comptroller has made it very clear that some EDC funds can be used to upgrade or update your regulations to assist with economic development.
So that wouldn't be out of our general fund, it would be out of.
No, of course. No, of course.
Thank you.
$40. All
Okay.
right, we good on that one?
Yes, I have clear definitive direction after
All
that
right,
discussion.
move on to 7G. Discussion action related to the funding of public art installations.
Okay, I'll give you a little introduction. Previously, I want to say is when I first started. It might have been my first meeting. It's a little bit of a blur. But previously, the CEDC had talked about funding murals in Old Town and public arts, and we paid and funded the Rooted in History Cibolo mural there to improve the aesthetic there and create that linchpin to create commerce in Old Town. This request came from the city manager's office. So I'm going to preface this with communities are already doing this. And if we're going to do it, we need to do it 10 times better than them. Not that they did it bad, but let's not copy them. The city manager came to us with a request for funding buffaloes throughout town, painted buffaloes similar to the squirrels and mermaids in San Marcos, or squirrels in Seguin, mermaids in San Marcos. Given my background, I know those programmatics and I know how they were funded and I know the pitfalls of funding them and everything. Those were programmatics that were in Arts Commission's hands that had been in existence for 5, 6, 7, 8+ years. So they started small and then grew to that. I'm not saying we can't succeed something great. What I would say is their stuff that you're seeing is funded by hotel occupancy tax, donations from private businesses and private parties. And I do not believe, and I haven't received the last update from Seguin, but those are not funded with any general fund public dollars.
I mean,
So-
isn't there a story about the Hutto Hippo? I mean,
That's a similar project, and they're funding it. I didn't look at that one, how they were funded. But yes, the Hutto Hippo, I guess a train crashed and the hippo ran through town, and that's how they got the hippos. It's tied to their history. The mermaids are tied to Ocarina Springs Amusement Park in San Marcos. The squirrels, I mean, we don't have to say much. We saw squirrel shoes this morning from the mayor of Seguin. So this request came from the city manager's office, and through my history and my background, I sat and thought about this specific agenda item for a long time. And if we're going to do it, we need to do it something that will last, something that's predictable if we want to reproduce it, and something that fits our theme of our city, which is the buffalo. What I'm proposing, and I do not have any financials on this, is kind of a metal cast piece of art of a buffalo. The buffalo example that we found, hopefully this pulls up. It's in your agenda packet if it printed correctly. This is
from down in San Antonio?
Yes, it is.
New Braunfels and Broadway?
Yes, it is.
Every time I see it, I think about this.
Yes, so this buffalo, and I've been in contact with Plains Capital Bank, and they kind of grab them when they find them. So we're talking a big corporation that's grabbing these from roadside places, is what she told me. They don't have a supplier. This says action, but it should be more direction. There's kind of a two-phase thing. Should or would the board want to, say in the March meeting when we have a full board, reestablish the Public Arts Committee, task that committee with pursuing this and figuring out all the pitfalls and all the funding and doing all the homework and bringing this back to the board for potential funding. My view on it is if we were going to fund it, I want to put it in high traffic commerce areas. So think of Buffalo Heights, think of HEB, think of Cibolo Crossing. We will talk to them about putting a Buffalo out there. Think of those high traffic areas. That's the only way in my mind we could justify putting a piece of public art with type B funds. It's attributing to that commerce. It's creating that hook to draw them in, because as Patricia pointed out, she remembers this in San Antonio, and Rick was the one that directed me to it, because I was like, there's a bank that has this cast iron or whatever, bronze, and they're all different because they have different areas where they get them. So I guess what I'm looking for is more direction than action. Is the board interested in pursuing this? And if you are, would you want to reestablish the subcommittee at the next meeting?
Is there a way to have places help us with this? As in, like you said, yeah, businesses that want to get involved with it and.
We could definitely ask. It's not, we're going to have to ask them for permission to put it on their property, or give us an easement for it, and award us an easement for it. I don't think that's beyond anything. HEB is a great partner. Look at what they've built at the corner of Main Street and 1103. We could ask. There's always that where we could ask for a cost share. Or vice versa, we could talk to our partners, GVEC and GVSUD, and see if they want to help kick in some funds to sponsor this, co-sponsor it, if you will. But I will tell you, if the board chooses, this would have a plaque that says, funded by the Cibolo Economic Development Corporation in partnership with blah, 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 blah. Whomever comes along with us, or if we go it alone.
Does IRTC Do they
He
have
does.
a Buffalo too?
He bought it from a furniture store that was
Okay,
going out of
yeah,
business.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up. I was like, I know,
He
I
does.
saw it, yeah, okay.
I asked Steven, who is the CEO over there, I said, where did you get your Buffalo? You told me. And it was a furniture business, right place, right time. But that type of thing, top of mind. So I'll leave it to you all to discuss, basically just looking if you want to pursue this. And if you do, I would recommend, I guess it would be future agenda items to ask me to bring it back for reestablishing the Public Art Committee.
I would like for you to table this until we get a full, new set of, members to appoint some people to this, because this is something I think that the whole city wants, I guess, right?
Cool, I can do that if you'll give me a motion and an action, or, yeah.
Do we need a motion? Motion, I make a motion to table.
I'll second.
7G.
Just say what you're tabling.
Oh, I gotta get a motion to, table 7G, for the next meeting.
March 19th.
Yes.
I'll second.
Excellent.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
I just have one quick question about that. So you have the buffalo, like the life-size kind of animated, like looking buffalo, but then you also have the buffaloes that are on like the side of the YMCA.
Personally, Mayor, I was thinking we could, once we get that there, we can go through it with our subcommittee. And when we do that, I would make the recommendation to do it more like the Hutto hippos, that size. So that's, yes, exactly. And everybody can paint it whichever color they want.
And I'll put that in the next agenda item as an example.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pricing, all that stuff, if we can figure it out, and if anybody can help us. or-
Yeah.
Fantastic. Moving on to 7H, discussion direction for fiscal year 27 budget priorities and preparation. Mr. Harden.
Okay, Marcus, we don't really have to do anything for this one. I'm kidding. Yes, input. So, last year, because of when I started, I was behind the 8 ball. I usually like for boards that I'm a liaison with to start thinking about this stuff strategically before it comes to our front door. What I'm asking you all to consider, much like what we've already discussed this evening, is what type of programmatics, what type of anything you would like to see us fund within type B allowances, and let's create our wish list, and then we can trim down and we can have a proper discussion, because last year I was on my back foot. I wasn't really prepared for this. So we're going to come in this prepared. I don't have a pending forecast from finance. But I will say the last few years that I've looked at our budget, we budget conservatively enough that we've built a pretty good fund balance, which if the board so chooses, we could tap into for one-time expenses pending city council, mayor, city council approval, city manager, city finance approval, the whole chain if it's a one-time expense. So start thinking about those things that are kind of the pain points you see in our community. Or is there something that we have in our budget right now that is not working? I can tell you unequivocally our grant programs are working because we've expended a lot of grant money. So do we need to apply more money to our grant program? So start thinking that strategically about, last year we were talking about creating a line item with a land bank. Do we need to start building a fund balance for a land bank to start acquiring lands on I-10, which most EDCs do we have a piece of land currently. Do we need to pursue that more? What strategic vision do you have for our budget that you would like for staff to execute and move forward? And we'll come back, I'll have the same item and it will just be discussion and I'll just take notes. And then once we get into that budget season, once Ms. Miranda unlocks the budget and we'll start plugging numbers and we'll work with city council and we'll get it through and we'll get it done. So
You just wanting us to put ideas in our head
Yes.
of what?
yeah, and if you think of them, I know everybody can relate. You get the worst ideas when you can't. You get the best ideas when you can't stop and write them down. So if you get them, email them right away to me. I'll just put them in a folder and I'll include them on the next agenda item.
Okay. All right. Don't need anything for that one?
No, that was just discussion. Well, it says discussion direction, but, you know,
Direct. Yeah, direction, think about it. All right, so we got, that's the end of that. So now we will move on to executive session. It is 7:51. We're going to convene into executive session. And is that it? Oh, man, come on. The Cibolo Economic Development Corporation will convene into executive session as authorized by the Texas Government Code 551, Section 551.071, consultation with an attorney, and 551.087, economic development to deliberate and seek legal advice regarding the following. 8A, Project Thor. 8B, Project Golf Club. All right, we'll go ahead and reconvene. It is 8:30. There will be, what is it? No action taken. So we will go ahead and move on to items for future agenda.
Can we put on the future agenda, the Red Ball Cafe? Get a committee going or something like that? I don't know. I know where I want to put it. I'll make the city pay for it.
Yeah, we can bring that back. And we'll have a full body so we can reset that committee to explore everything that we attempted to do previously, but we can bring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna get on it and I'm gonna get it done.
Okay.
I do have one thing I want to talk about. We were at the last meeting, we talked about tasking staff to look at going forward to do grants, to look at grants for EV charging stations. But I want to let you guys know I did a whole bunch of research. First, I did not see that in our strategic plan. And second, TxDOT has this whole Texas corridor plan, and you have to be like on the plan and in their partnerships and part of like this whole community outreach where you go out and you ask your citizens to make these comments, and then you go before the board, and like and you have to be able to service and maintain them. And so we have a strategic partner, GVEC, who myself and Mr. Reed will be meeting with specifically, not just to talk about this, but for other reasons, where the indication to me was that GVEC has the 4 that are currently slated for them. So I'm wondering if it might be worth calling back that grant writer from going and pursuing the EV, because we didn't participate in the appropriate TxDOT pathway, so that the bandwidth that we are tasking with the ED dollars is for like what you just brought forward to Mr. Clancy, was to say, hey, maybe we might want to go for these grants once we get that up, and then you pay the grant writer not for. I don't think we're going to get the grants. I mean, we would have to be part, it's like part of the region and then part of the state plan, and we're not. We're not even on it.
Unless we pay for it 100% out of pocket and not do a grant. That would be another option.
Well, I don't
There's
even,
also, I believe, some federal grants that were linked to that as well.
yeah, but
So that's not the
you have to be on the corridor plan. I can send you the requirements for, you don't want it? Okay. You have to be in the corridor, in the plan, and with the partner that can maintain it.
Is that for federal as well?
You have to be on that corridor.
Well, then, okay, so then the point is to table it then.
Well, I just want you to consider it, and like, do you have to pay the grant writer when she goes out, when you've given her direction?
I would imagine that we would reimburse her for her time, just like everybody else on.
Yeah, so I'm just curious if
Yeah.
you are aware that that's the way you have to be part of the region, part of the state, and then they have stakeholders, and that's how they're funding the money. It's a big, huge plan. It's like 250 pages long, and our closest partner for our city would be GVEC,
Sure, electric, yeah.
and then TxDOT, and then our relationship with TxDOT.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah, we'll put it
That's
on
what I'm trying to say is, if you want to talk about it, I mean, and not pay her that's my fear.
I don't think we asked anybody to do a grant yet, so, but
If I recall the discussion, it was in the minutes. What I'm doing is exploratory right now, is picking up our previous grant application, seeing where we had the strengths, seeing where we had the weaknesses. Also, we're kind of lucky where we're hitting this stride because our neighbors in Schertz, talking to their EDC team, they're exploring EV charging stations. That's becoming a priority for their community as well. So we're cross-sharing information.
They have 2 sites.
Well,
I guess
they
we can't
have the Tesla
deliberate.
supercharging station.
we can't deliberate and put it on the next agenda.
Yeah, put it on for next
I can
meeting.
put it on the next agenda.
Sounds good. Sorry, I didn't
Let's get in.
I didn't mean to intercept.
Anybody
I'll
else?
place the EV charging discussion for a discussion and direction for the next agenda, and we'll include the report from previous meeting, minutes, everything I've done to this point too.
Perfect. Anybody else have anything?
No.
No? All right, no more for future agenda. Set date and time for next meeting, which is March 19th, 2026. And 12, adjournment.
Motion, whoa.
I'm beating you. I like motion to adjourn.
I guess I'll second that.
So it's been moved and seconded, and we adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you all.